Hello and welcome everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at the balance changes for 7.3. Take a look and see how it's going to affect PvP. We're going to go ahead and jump straight into it. So starting with Power Tech / Vanguard. Adjusting timing of some ability grants to smooth out leveling experience. As far as PvP goes, it doesn't really matter. It might matter in low level PvP, but anything they can do to increase the leveling experience, make it better, it's always a plus in that mind. Next, we have kind of a big one. So Stealth Scan has been redesigned and renamed. Terminator Droid, in addition to revealing stealth enemies, it also slows them and decreases their accuracy. So Terminator Droid / Suppression Droid fires off a Terminator Droid that can scan the area for 15 seconds, revealing stealth opponents and immobilizing them for 3 seconds. So eventually that's just going to be a root, right? So you scan someone in stealth, you're going to root them for 3 seconds. In addition, all enemies inside the field of Terminator Droid have their accuracy reduced by 20% and are slowed by 30%. The way I read this is an AoE accuracy reduction. So it's basically an AoE DCD. It is going to matter a little bit, but since there's a lot of white damage, it's not going to matter that much. But against certain classes, this is going to be a big deal. It will let you avoid some things. So overall, this is a small buff to power techs, because they're not as good as they need to be right now. Of course not. They're not one of the best classes in the game. Next, we have the Stealth Scan. So it has its cooldown increased to 20 seconds for 15. It makes sense. It's getting a big buff. The next thing is we have Neural Trigger. Tactical now roots the target instead of stuns. This is a positive change. I don't even know why this is a tactical anyway. They don't need this at all. It's not useful. All it does is create more CC in the game, and the resolve doesn't work correctly. The white bar system, it just doesn't work. It needs to be completely reworked, so getting rid of more stuns is good. I wish they would just get rid of this completely, but it's a change in the positive direction. Next, moving on to the actual specs. So advanced prototype / tactics. Prototype rail / high friction bolts now restore 6 heat / energy when their effect is triggered, up from 5. It's a buff, but it's not going to matter that much. It's just a small DPS increase. I would say it's probably less than 2% overall, so not a big change. It just helps with sustained DPS a little bit. Prototype weapon system / havoc training increases the critical strike damage bonus of rocket punch, rail strike, magnetic blast, retractable blade, thermal detonator energy burst by 15%. Up from 10. I do not like this change. Vanguards do not need more damage. They just do not. Vanguard PT are set on damage. I don't know why we're giving them more crit on top of what they already have. This makes no sense. Overall, the class is getting stronger. They're already in a very good place, and this is just going to push them even higher. 5% might not seem like a lot, but it is if you take a look at the critical, because it's increasing on the critical. It's not just a straight 5% damage buff. It's increasing on the critical damage. So they're going to have higher burst on all of their abilities. I don't know what we're doing here, but okay. Energized Blaze Tactical has been redesigned and renamed Energized Vambrace. It does the following. Energized Vambrace. Gaining an energy load stack increases the damage reduction on retractable blade's gut bleed, and increases the damage of Magnetic Blast Tactical Surge by 5% per 10 seconds. Stacks up to 4 times. Again, this class does not need damage. We are giving them more DPS, so they are going to be looking very strong when these go through. Like, I don't understand why we're doing this. It makes no sense why they're getting more damage. Right now, they're already in the A to S tier. They are a very easily playable class, so I don't understand this one at all. Next, we're going to look at the Mercenary / Commando changes. So adjusted the timing of some abilities, grants to smooth out the leveling experience, always good. Like I said, it might have a small effect on low level PvP, getting some better abilities earlier, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't really care about low level PvP. Stealth Scan has been redesigned and renamed Hunter Killer Droid. It's basically the same thing as the top, but it's a little bit different. In addition to revealing stealth enemies, it also reduces the caster's damage taken while stunned, which is interesting. Basically, I'm not really sure how that's going to play out. That's kind of a weird one. So Hunter Killer Droid / Advanced Recon Droid fires off a probe that scans the area for stealth opponents for 15 seconds and grants Droid Overrush, which increases your damage reduction while stunned by 30%. Reveal the targets are immobilized and all enemies within the field are slowed by 30%. So it is a slow, and then anyone in stealth gets rooted. Also, I'm guessing you can just scan this on yourself and increase your damage reduction if you're expecting to get stunned. It's very situational, but it is a buff. The Vanguard one is better, just flat out better, because the accuracy debuff is better. But it's okay. This isn't really going to majorly change anything, though. Stealth stand cooldown increase to 20 seconds over 15. Makes sense, you're buffing it. Don't want people to spam it all over. Next, we have the random charge legendary has been redesigned and renamed to overcharged cells, and now does the following: Prime Shot, Vortex Bolt, Thermal Detonator, Assault Plastic, Healing Scan, Advanced Medical Probe generates 3 supercharges. This effect has a rate limit of 15 seconds, so it's just a DPS buff on everything pretty much, which is fine. They're not really top flight as far as DPS goes. They actually could use a little bit of buff. I don't think it's a huge buff, probably somewhere around 5% overall is what I expect to see out of them, so not a huge one, but it is going to give them a little bit more damage. Next, we have moving into the Arsenal Gunnery spec. So Supercharged Gas / Supercharged Cells have been renamed to High Velocity Supercharged Gas / High Velocity Supercharged Cells. No one knows why, they just decided to change the name. Duration of High Velocity Supercharged Gas / High Velocity Supercharged Cells has been increased by 4 seconds. Again, just a straight up DPS increase. So they're going to have a little bit more supercharge to work with. It's not going to be major, it's just 4 seconds. But they do need a little bit more damage and a little bit more healing and more output, so all that's good. Next, we look at the healing spec. The Bodyguard / Combat Medic Supercharged Gas has been renamed to Supercharged Colto Gas. Why? No one knows. They're just adding words to add words, I guess. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at Sniper / Gunslinger. So reestablished range / reset engagement is now granted level 43 for all Sniper / Gunslingers, and the knockback effect has been removed to Sniper Pillbox / Lay Low Utility Choice. It's not a huge deal. I really don't think it needed to be changed in this way. I mean, snipers do need a buff, but I don't think that does anything. Reestablished range / reset engagement has been replaced by Vital Regulator / Cool Under Pressure at the level 64 choice on the ability tree for all snipers. Again, it's not really great, but it's okay. I mean, it's going to give them a little bit more survivability, but I just don't think it's enough. Vital Regulator / Cool Under Pressure will have its healing increase to 3% of your maximum HP every 2 seconds while in cover. A 3% heal is not that great. It really isn't. Every 2 seconds, too. So you can basically say this is 1.5% of your HP every second. It's not a lot of healing. What is it? 300? It's just nothing. So that's not very good. It's not very big buff for their survivability. I still think they're going to be pretty terrible just with those base changes. Moving next to Marksmanship / Sharpshooter. So targeted ambush / hot shot now triggers from killing an enemy within 3 seconds of damaging them with ambush / aim shot. The DPS increase, which is something they need. Their DPS isn't great. So overall it's a positive. It's not a big DPS increase though. It's pretty lackluster, but it is something. Next we have Virulent / Dirty Fighting. Corrosive Refund / Scrounging has been redesigned. It now calls a Corrosive Grenade / Sharp Bomb to refund 2 energy each time it ticks. Why? Class is fine. Class doesn't need any more energy regen. This is a straight up buff. It's going to be good. Like, they're going to have even more DPS and even less energy issues. I don't understand why we're buffing classes that are already at the top, but Virulence is going to be very good still. Next, looking at the healing spec, so Medicine / Sawbones, we're going to go into the Operative Scoundrel changes. So Medicine, Operative / Sawbones Scoundrel version of Tactical Overdrive. Hot Streak now grants interrupt immunity while it's active. It's fine. They probably needed that. Overall, the other classes generally have something they can do with that, or free cast. Like the Mercs have the immunity to interrupt, so not a big deal. I don't think it changes anything at all. It's just an option that people can have. Next, we have Lethality / Ruffian. Corrosive Return / Brutal Return no longer extends the duration of Stim Boost / Pugnacity by 5. That's actually good. So this is a nerf, and Lethality needs a nerf. So it's good. It's not great, but it's as a starting point. Next, we have the viral elements tactical no longer causes lethal strike / point blank shot to hit the primary target twice. I always thought that was kind of a bug, but apparently it was intended. So good thing they're changing that. Again, it's a nerf to them, but it's not a huge nerf. It's not going to change how they play or anything. Next, we have Concealment / Scrapper. The best defensive mod lifesteal effect has been improved. No one cares. It's not what they do. They're not in there to start a fight and to basically have sustained damage. They're in there to burst people out. Giving them lifesteal does absolutely nothing. So they're still not going to be in a great spot. Moving down to Assassin / Shadow, we're looking at Hatred and Serenity. Reduce the damage bonus given from Inevitable Demise / Arching Mind from 30 to 25%. It's a nerf, but does it really matter? No. Hatred's problem isn't really damage. They have damage. Their problem is the same as it's always been, is survivability. They just can't survive inside of fights, inside of PvP. It just doesn't happen. They get focused right away. You know, if someone's running Hatred, you just focus them and it's kind of a joke. So decreasing their damage doesn't really do anything. Deception / Infiltration increases the damage bonus by Executioner / Judgment while opponents below 30% max health from 3 to 5. Why? Again, Deception is a very strong class right now. So we're just giving them more execution damage? Because they're not bursty enough? I don't understand this change at all either. I don't know why we're giving them more burst damage when they're already one of the top bursty classes in the game. It makes no sense. They really don't have that many weaknesses. They're already a top A S tier class. So again, we're buffing Deception Infiltration. They're only going to get better. This isn't a huge... Actually, this is kind of a huge buff. If you really think about how the damage plays out, they'll be able to burst down people a lot quicker with this because it's going to be below 30% max health. And they're going to increase the damage bonus on it, not just a flat-out damage. So Deception is just going to basically be running amok and just killing people 100 to 0. This is going to help them a lot. If you take like a little bit of damage and Deception opens up on you and just bursts you down, yeah, you're not surviving. So cool. Deception's going to be insane. So all your Deception mains, look for 7.3. Next we have Sorcerer / Sage. So Madness / Balance. Dark Echo / Resonant Pulse chance to reapply Death's Brand / Shift and Balance slow has been reduced to 30%. That's good. They need a nerf. Madness Balance is definitely overperforming. It's not a huge nerf, but let's take a look at the other changes. Might get better. Vitia's Malice / Warden's Vigor lifesteal on Force Lightning / Telekinetic Throw has been reduced from 15% down from 20%. That's good. The lifesteal is a little bit too much. 20% lifesteal on that has been able to keep Madness in fights longer. I wish it would be more. We're doing very little changes, and that's kind of been the point through here. So I wish it would be more. It should be more down like 10%. If they cut it in half, I think it would play much better, and it would still make Madness strong. It just wouldn't put them in that OP tier right now. Death's Brand / Shifted Balance slow effect should no longer reapply to players that have been defeated and respawn. That's great. I mean, I hated that. We were just sitting and spawning, getting slowed from nowhere after you just respawn, so that's good. It's probably more of a bug fix than anything, because it shouldn't have done that anyway. Everything should be wiped off once you die and respawn, so that's a positive change. Next, we have Lightning / TK. Increase the Stormwatch tactical duration to 15 seconds up from 10. Increase the Stormwatch tactical duration from 15 seconds up from 10. Does Lightning really need that? I'm not sure if that's a good idea. It's just 5 more seconds, but that 5 more seconds is about 3 GCDs? Okay, let's look at the other. Increase the damage of halted offensive / power reports by 7%. Again, a DPS increase. Lightning Flash / Telekinetic increase by 5%. So Lightning's getting big buffs. Lightning's getting very big buffs. Does this make them... This makes them good. This gives them more damage, not more survivability. Interesting. So they're going to be doing serious damage. 100% they're going to be doing big damage. So Lightning's going to get better. I don't know how high it's going to take them. It might take them very high, just because it's 3 straight up damage buffs. all in one class, and plus they're bursty. So 7.3 is probably going to be pretty good for lightning. And finally, we have Marauder Sentinel changes. So Annihilation. The focus / rage generation of Bloodlust / burning focus paths have been modified. It now reads your direct damage attacks that hit a bleeding / burning target build 1 rage focus. This effect cannot occur more than once every 3 seconds. The rest of the package effect remains the same. Why? Annihilation is not having an issue with rage. Annihilation has an issue with the actual rotation itself. It's just not very good right now. The Tactical Overload Saber made, not Overload Saber, Spiteful Saber, made the Annihilation / Watchman Sentinel just not interactive enough to play. It took away a lot of the skill cap, and that's the whole thing. Like back in 2.0, 3.0, when Annihilation was very high skill, there was only like it was very high skill, but people thought it was broken because of how good you had to be to play it. It was probably the hardest class to play back then. Even 1.0, I remember you had to like save focus and stuff for your interrupt and things like that. That's the kind of Annihilation people want back. This kind of thing where they're building rage and doing all this, we don't care. People want the old Annihilation back with the cauterized procs and things like that. And where it's a very skill expressive class, but it is what it is. This isn't going to change anything. It's literally going to be the same class. They've already basically neutered the spec over and over again, so it is what it is. Those are my overall opinions. Overall in PvP, the big winners are going to be Lightning. So Lightning is just going to start to pop off. I can see that coming right now. Deception, again, it looks like a small buff, but I'm telling you, any type of damage to Deception, especially on the execute part, it's just going to make them start popping off more too. Lethality's getting a little bit of a nerf, which is good. I think it's more of a bug fix, but that's good. Marksmanship, smartness, they're all going to be the same. There's not really a lot of big changes. AP though, AP are the changes that just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why we're buffing AP again. AP doesn't need a damage buff at all, and if anything, it needs its burst reduced. It just has too much utility for the amount of damage that it has. I just wish one or the other would be taken away. Either we reduce its damage or we reduce its utility. One or the other. But those are my kind of thoughts on the upcoming 7.3 patches. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And as always, have a good day.